Welcome back to MMG. So, what? Why? so, Elon's new truck. Why do I think this is a perfect example of markets topping out? Why are we close to a top, right? To the markets, and why would this contraption uh, signal that? Well, you only get ridiculous things at market peaks because there's free cash flow, cheap money, liquidity. People are buying stocks based on emotions and their beliefs of, space travel, you name it. And people start making ridiculous decisions. And they think they can get away with it. I guarantee you, Elon was thinking, I'm going to make a futuristic truck, right? Kind of like the Blade Runner truck. And people are going to love it and buy it because it's different. Literally, during his his little show, it looked like a magic show, a cheap magic show from Vegas. um, he put up the other trucks and he said, look, they all look the same. Not really, but I understand the styles look the same, but he really veered off to like nerdy La La Land, like 80s cheap movie prop vehicles. This is what people were expecting, right? And if he would have came out with something like this, man, even I would have been thinking, well, this is probably going to do really good. Besides all the other things that people are very, very skeptical about, from balance sheet to the self-driving to quality and services, and it's endless and endless. The How deep the rabbit hole goes with Elon, but if he goes back to the drawing board, maybe creates something that looks good and is actually functional in the real world, then yeah. Now, listen, I get it. I did like some of his ideas. Execution was not not quite par to his vision, right? So he went on and he said that the body of this truck is stainless steel, which is kind of cool. I do like that. Now I understand that this was done before in the 80s, right? By this company called DMC. They made the DeLorean. And I almost bought a DeLorean when I was 16. And I should have bought that thing because it's probably worth more today. Anyways, this company went out of business. And they made a stainless steel body, right? And it doesn't rust. It's strong metal, very strong. I also think it's a bit heavy on the heavy side, but it doesn't rust, it doesn't dent, you name it. The problem is, if you make the frame, you make an exoskeleton frame, and you get into a wreck, like a not a serious wreck, but a fender bender, and you bend the frame of the stainless steel frame of the truck or car, it's done. It's totaled out. The entire thing is totaled. Because you can't just go in there and weld it and manufacture it. It would cost more than what the car is worth or valued at. So that's a huge flaw. Another thing is the body's extremely rigid, which one would say is good. Yeah, it's good for rock crawling and stuff like that and off-roading. Problem is, when you put load in the back bed, the entire vehicle is gonna just drop all at once, and because it's so rigid. And then not just that, he went and he put air suspension on the truck. Now, air suspension is not made for towing and for carrying heavy loads. And not just that, neither are electric engines and batteries. It'll just kill the power, the juice in the battery, and ruin the electric engine. Yeah, so and that's another reason why the back end just dropped so much when he brought on a Tesla quad four-wheeler, electric four-wheeler. That thing probably did not weigh that much, the four-wheeler, even with a person on it. But when he brought it onto the bed, the entire vehicle just dropped in the back. Just watch the video if you have time. If you find it on YouTube. I posted in the newsroom when it was live, the the revealing, and when that thing rolled out, I'm just like, oh my god! And then someone in the crowd was like, "Is that real?" You could hear him in the background. It's hilarious. And these are like hardcore Elon Tesla fanboy cultists, right? So it's funny. Um, and then on top of it, he gets this guy to throw like a metal ball bearing at the windshield, and it was supposed to not like it was supposed to just bounce off, and it didn't. It just went. It shattered the glass, and you can literally hear Elon. He's like, "Well, it's not supposed to do that. Try the other window." It just was. It was a miserable fail. Look. This guy's fired, by the way. I hear he's brutal with his employees. This dude's gone. He's gone. He nuked him. So hilarious. You guys know my thoughts. I'm a disclaimer. My bias. I've been shorting Tesla. I do take profits. I did not get wrecked on that last pump though. I'm gonna say I didn't know that was coming. I just got lucky because I couldn't find any shorts to short it with, right? Someone has to lend you the stock so you can short it, and I couldn't find any, so I got lucky. All right, so what else? I mean, this is a freestyle video. All right, guys. Not finan. By the way, I have to do disclaimers. Uh, Not financial advice. Consult your financial advisor. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Stocks, extremely risky, extremely volatile. Put stops in place, emotions out. Don't invest in anything you're not willing to lose or lose sleep over. Also, Bitcoin and crypto, same as well. This is my opinion. This is just an educational channel and just listening to me give you guys my opinions. I could be completely wrong. And yeah, do your research, do your own thing. All right. So, where to start? So here's a map of the markets of the past. This is the performance of the prior 3 months. Obviously, the markets have been on a tear for the past 3 months. They've been on a tear for quite some time since the bottom lows. Let's take a look at the yearly performance. Because at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, the market fell 20%, right? Well, since then, it's been on a tear. Now, I took part in some of that bullish up run. I go long stocks sometimes, but not most of it, right? So Google's up 26%, Microsoft is up 46%, JP's up 20%. What's this? Bank of America up 20%, Apple up 48%. Home Depot's up 30%. Amazon, it's up 16%. So the market's overall up. AT&T's up 27%. I mean, so what does that tell you? If you're a contrarian, a pullback is coming. A correction is coming eventually. Even GE, delisted from the Dow, almost bankrupt. It's up 56%. So, as a contrarian, keep that in mind for the longer term, for the next coming weeks and months going into 2020. Here's a Zero Hedge article on, yeah, you guys need to watch it. It's not that long. There's definitely a wheel falling off, a wobbly wheel in the back. They had a video of it. It's faster than a Porsche 911. Here's the thing. I mean, it's an electric vehicle, right? So the acceleration on it 0 to 60 in a quarter mile. It's going to be great. But, you know, the juice in these batteries, if you actually floor it, it doesn't last long. Pretty much what Elon did. He went to his designer. He drew this, and he's like, "Here, make me this. You have 2 weeks before the reveal that I promised and I forgot about." Oh boy, I just love talking smack about Elon because he is, in my opinion, borderline fraudster. Because did the Simpsons predict this as well? That's hilarious. Because, you know, the self-driving, it's not really self-driving and people are getting hurt. That's all I gotta say. And people paid for it, too, by the way, in advance. By the way, you could go and buy this right now, in advance. Give him $40,000. I wouldn't give up my hopes. Like, here's the thing, guys. If people are already paying him for this, then he's going to keep that body style, and sales aren't going to do that great. People are going to buy this, though, because you're going to stand out. You're just going to stand out. It's ugly as all hell, but it stands out, you know? Everyone's going to see it and know what it is when it drives down the road. Yeah, so people will buy it. And I guarantee you the interior of it is as boring as all the other vehicles. It's just like a tablet, like, you know, attached to the dashboard. How boring. Like, I don't know. I don't understand people who like these cars. So what else are we looking at? And not just that, there's going to be some serious competition, EVs wise. I mean, all the manufacturers are coming out with EVs because in the European Union, they require you to like build a certain amount or a small percentage of your vehicles have to be EVs. So they're coming out with electric trucks. I don't think it's going to take off. They're just doing it because they have to, and also because they get tax subsidies. So the taxpayer gives these car companies money to build these, and they probably make a little bit of a profit, something off of it. So they're going to continue to do this. Guys, it costs a ton of oil and energy to make these giant batteries and make electric vehicles. It just does. If you look at the EROI, it's not cost effective. Meaning, without tax subsidies, you can't make money off of EVs, off of electric vehicles. I know a way you can make vehicles that are even faster and stronger and better than electric vehicles, but they won't allow you to patent it. And the people who have tried patenting it in the past have mysteriously died. And it's not an electric vehicle. You could make hybrid vehicles, and they're way better. You still get the exhaust and the combustion engine, and it still sounds great. You know, it's still a vehicle. It's not just silent. It doesn't make a humming sound when it runs. And it has power, torque, and it's good for the environment. Even though exhaust emissions are good for the environment because plants eat it. They eat carbon. Like, I don't want to go down that. I don't want to start screaming, and because I'm gonna get mad. All right. I posted this meme like a few months ago. Hilarious. This is my Instagram. You should go to that too. If you guys are not in the free Telegram chat groups, the newsroom, and on my social media, you're missing out. I post some great stuff. Alright, I wanted to show you guys this. So the chart never gets old. This is the latest version released today. Figure 47. The corporate sector has been the main buyer of equity since the market low. So that's probably the market low of early 2019, late 2018, right? So what does that tell you? I was thinking that money was coming in from international markets, but maybe it's not. And this is, I think, a Bloomberg chart, something like that. It's a reputable chart. Um, our data, and if corporations are buying at the all-time highs or near it, when this thing drops, they're like gonna go out of business, all of them. I mean, honestly, that's the risk. That's the risk. Now, will the market drop? Maybe it never will drop in a big way. Maybe it'll only drop 20%, maybe 25%. And then they'll come in, the Fed will come in, save the day again. And we're just going to end up like Japan. Maybe the central banks will just start buying stocks. They're going to do it. I have a feeling they're going to do it. And what's going to happen? You're just going to get the markets going up and slightly sideways, something like that, just like Japan. Maybe just sideways in dollar denominated terms, but in real life, the shares are losing value because the currency is going to be losing value. So we might not ever see a huge market crash. It just might be 20, 25%, 30%, maybe even a 40% drop. And then it just goes sideways forever because they keep buying stocks and printing money. And it'll be a zombie market. It'll be a socialist managed market. Central bank buying stock. Who knows what they're gonna do? Maybe Treasury buy. I don't know. But it's Japanification, right? And that is the worst outcome. Not for us who are holding gold and silver mining stocks, but for society. It's just gonna be a slow death, a slow grinding death. While you lose more freedoms, while they throw on more taxes, while your inflation runs higher and stocks just trade sideways and nobody makes money. It's just that for us who are holding gold and silver mining stocks, it's good because our stocks are going to keep going higher. Meanwhile, everyone else, society doesn't break down instantly. Eventually it will break down, but they could do that maybe for a few more years. I don't want that to happen, but I'll be fine. You're still going to do fine if you're holding mining stocks, in my opinion, gold and silver mining stocks, because they're going to have to just endlessly print. So those will just keep going up. Those will go into a bull market. Meanwhile, everything else might just, I don't know, trade slightly sideways higher maybe after a crash. And then, but like I said, in dollar denomination. So if you measure it with dollars, yes, sideways, slightly up. Maybe even making new highs like the Venezuelan stock market. But when you go to sell it, it's not going to be worth as much in dollar fiat terms because that will be losing value. A lot of people have a hard time understanding that. Oh, so if you buy dividend stocks, will those dividends make up for the inflation? Not really. And if it does fall in a big way, the shares, so your original capital that you invested in the shares to get the dividend payouts, if it falls 40%, it's going to take you many years of dividends to make it back as well. So, those mainstream strategies, they worked, in the past few decades, but will they work forever? SpaceX Starship Zero Hedge article. It exploded. Elon's not having a good week. He's not. Confidence starts falling in Elon, so will the share price. I'll look at the chart in a little bit. By the way, I did say in the private group to possibly put on a short once the market starts pulling back. The market started pulling back yesterday, and then Elon came out with his reveal later last night. Well, the market started falling 2 days ago, beginning of this week. So if you did put on a short on Tesla, you're up in a big way, a gap down. I'll show you guys the chart. WeWork is crashing again. They can't even bail it out. So what does this all mean? It means that the unicorn stocks, also the marijuana stocks, have been plunging, just getting slaughtered. So this is all indicative of a risk off environment. And all these recent IPOs, they're all doing horrible, guys. Here's another article by Ian Bizak, Investors Place. Uber's not doing good. Slack's not doing good. Chewy, Smile Direct Club. These have all taken huge hits. Grubhub, Beyond Meat. So what I'm trying to say is, it's party is coming to an end. It's risk off environment at new all time highs. You start seeing these risky IPOs and unicorn stocks. Once they start falling, it's a signal to the market that people are not risking money as they used to, which means that liquidity is drying up. Means everyone's all in, right? Or the smart money is getting all out. They're taking their profits and they're just holding cash. Here's another IPO that's coming out, the Ramco IPO, which is looking like a giant pump and dump. Why else would the former largest oil cartel Saudi oil company tried an IPO? It's because they're probably running out of reserves. And I've looked into it in the past recent years, and there's a lot of data and stuff. I don't know. Look it up yourself. Either way, what they're doing is, the country itself changed laws to make they lowered the corporate tax, they lowered a bunch of stuff, they exempted Aramco from taxes. So when they IPO, people buy into it. I wouldn't trust them. I think they're in huge trouble. I'll post this article in the newsroom. You guys could look into it yourselves. Another thing with these EVs, oil prices are falling, and they might not. Oil may not recover. And you know what? I'm gonna make a separate video on that. I just need to do some research, and I don't want to talk about it now. I don't want to. This is a freestyle video. I'll make a video on that. So SoftBank to cut offer for WeWork. Yeah. SoftBank was going to bail it out, but SoftBank's in trouble themselves because of WeWork. I think they lost $600 million, something like that. It's insane. Another reason, who knows? What if SoftBank's the reason behind the repo market? We don't know. So, who is this? The OECD sees global growth at decade lows. So the World Trade Organization sees GDP growth just dropping globally. And that is true. The China credit impulse, like I said, China's definitely suffering because of the tariffs, but it wasn't just because of that. Prior to that, their economy popped in 2015. It did rebound, but it was they're having definitely a credit crunch in China. They need dollars to service their dollar denominated debt. There's capital flight running out of China. Another reason why they just went very negative on cryptos again. And I think China just realized no one's gonna buy their crypto. their Fed coin, their China Fed coin. Yeah, China's in deep trouble right now. Will they come out on top after the global financial reset or collapse or whatever it's going to be called? I don't know. We'll see. But Trump definitely does not want that to happen. That's another reason why I don't want the trade. I don't think the trade war is going to resolve. Right? It's going to continue. Could be for a very long time. Kind of like the Russian Cold War. Ray Dalio denies he is betting on a market crash. You can believe me or you can believe the Wall Street Journal. If you've listened to Ray Dalio, which I have as of late this past year, he definitely knows the market's gonna... It's overvalued. Here's another thing, though. Like I said, will there be a huge, just 80% drop on the entire market? There should be. That's what the organic natural market would do. The problem is, nobody knows the extent of the central bank's manipulation and how effective it will be. And that's just that. A lot of the market is freaking bots and algorithmic trading, and it's on autopilot. That's another problem. Like, that's not an organic market anymore. In an organic market, people would all sell and the market would drop. Unless you could rig all these algorithms, Trump could come out with a tweet and then the algorithms come in and buy and put in a temporary bottom along with the plunge protection team. Like I said, you could have a Japanification type market. Let's say the market does drop 40%, then it just trades sideways forever. And then meanwhile, as it trades sideways forever, socialism creeps in and communism and tyranny, essentially. If that happens, personally, I'll be fine, and then you take profits with your mining stocks, and then you just get the hell out of Dodge, in my opinion. Also, the thing with Ray Dalio, he can't get out of the market with his giant index fund. He can't get out because it's an index fund. He's invested in everything. It's broad sector. So will the index funds unload their positions when the market starts dropping? Probably not, because they can't. Because the exit is so small. So what will happen is they're just stuck holding the bag. Another one of my opinion that you could think about. So he doesn't want the market to drop in a big way because his funds can't get out. That's what happens when you create giant cookie cutter index funds for and everyone just throws their retirement in it because everyone's lazy, right? And managed funds have been suffering for like a decade because of this crap. It's basically socialization and centralization of the stock market. That's what his fund has done himself. Also, he's a huge investor in China. FYI. The world's ultra-rich scrambling to find safe deposit boxes ahead of the next crash. Here's the thing, guys. I don't trust safe deposit boxes. You never know. They could always go in there and take them out. They just make a law, whatever. A bank goes under. I don't trust them. I trust other types of gold-backed new banks that have come out, and they're in my report. They're for the private members. I talk about them, but I do not trust these commercial banks and safe deposit box. There are separate safe deposit like box banks for the rich that aren't like commercial banks or anything. I mean, you really have to know who you're dealing with, and they have to have like the best reputation, and they don't even take your name. You just give them a code, and it's like a Swiss deposit box. Those are for people in the the elite, not for us plebs. All right, so what else did I want to talk about? Let's see. See if I missed anything. Here's the newsroom. It's free. Keep you guys updated. I made a nice Bitcoin chart. Check this out. America's finances. So this is the debt in red with all the presidents. It's exponentially growing. Exponentially. Completely unsustainable, and even Jerome Powell admitted during this hearing, right? The problem is, he says you have to outgrow the debt. That's impossible. Only the larger the debt becomes, the less growth there is in the economy. That's the major fallacy with these central bankers and Keynesianism, right? Because it costs more to service the debt. So because debt has interest, all debt has interest, credit, right? That's all that the Fed creates is credit, right? So the more money it takes to service the debt and the interest, the less money and capital flow is gone into the economy to grow it and small businesses and entrepreneurship. So therefore the economy can't grow. So therefore it's a cancer, it's a parasite. The debt and the credit. Like there, I just destroyed all modern economic theory in like the last minute. That what I just said. You should clip it. I don't know. Make it go viral. I don't want to repeat myself. This is weird, guys. I didn't know that Microsoft bought GitHub. You know, GitHub, where the open source code is for Bitcoin, where everyone goes and looks at the code, and that's a red flag for look into it and let me know what you guys think. Warships sail around the China Sea. U.S. warships. Yeah, guys. I'm not saying anything's gonna happen, but just, more signs of the times as world superpowers clash. Right? If a ship goes down in the sea, in China, I wouldn't be surprised they do that. You better believe the market's going to dump and metals are going to, like, pop. They're going to rally in a really big way. What else? So here's my Bitcoin chart that I posted in the newsroom yesterday. We have a head and shoulders. This is the daily chart zoomed out. We have a death cross with the moving averages. Although the TDI indicator was giving me a buy signal. Major support is at 7,400, and I think that actually broke. I haven't even looked. Wow. Bitcoin fell to 6,800 today, but it popped back up. Now it's at 7,300. Yeah. Not good. Not good. I don't know if the whales are gonna come back and tether, and they're gonna rebound or pump the price. Here's all I can say is, this is what I'm doing. If the price rebounds and they can get it back up into the 8 or 9,000s, I'm definitely gonna go short again in a really big way. But right now, I don't know if it's a good time to short because of the manipulation. Although the fact that 7,400 major support broke, the game might be up. I don't know. You see, that's the problem when there's manipulation. TA doesn't count. You don't trust your own TA, even if it's right. And my TA's been pretty right. I mean, it's just with the pumps. They like to run everyone's stops and leveraged positions, right? Causing short squeezes and long squeezes as well. Yeah, here we go. BitMEX liquidations. All right. Let's look at the markets. Although I like this video with an Antonopoulos. What else news is there that I could talk about? The elections. It's like a sitcom. Like, honestly, guys, all the political drama, it's all of it. It's like watching reality TV or some crap. It's really a waste of time, in my opinion. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, then it probably is QE. Yeah, it's QE. Why? Because the balance sheet of the Fed is expanding. That only happens if you're buying banks' debt. That means you are printing money and injecting it and buying banks' debt and injecting it into the markets and into the economy. That's why the market is hitting all-time high, guys. It's not based off of fundamentals. The last uh, economic data, the last GDP was below. It was like around 1%. That's recession. That's already in recession. If it's below like 3%, it's recession. It was like around 1%. So the market is completely detached from reality. Completely detached. For the past few weeks, I've been saying that this rally, we're going to get a huge correction in it, and I still believe so. If you want to look at the TA, just go look at my last video. It's still as valid. I'm still expecting this to sell off. All right, I think it's going to happen next week. Right now, the market's just closed, and somehow the market held up. I was thinking it would sell off some more today. The Russell 2000's looking way worse than the rest of these, so I'll make a pre-market Sunday, more detail into charting and whatnot. Here's Tesla chart. Took a huge dump today. It's overextended, overbought on the weekly. This is a weekly chart, so I expect some downside. Here's a 4-hour chart. Look at this gap down on the open today. Huge. It fell from 360 in the past day to 330. It's a huge drop, over 6%, something like that. Support is at around 314. If that breaks, it's all the way down around like 280, and then even lower, 250. I think something else has to go bad with Tesla for it to really drop in a big way again. But it should keep falling in a big way if the markets sell off. So the entire market sell off, indices, so will Tesla. All right, well, okay. A lot of people keep saying, I can't see the top of your chart. Okay. Here. Listen, the reason I have that banner up there is to hide my URLs so I don't dox myself. And, sometimes I accidentally have windows open. And then I also have a bunch of windows open for the private members in the tickers show. So I'm not trying to give away stuff for free. And I don't want to dox myself. I say the chart when I talk about it. You could pull up a TradingView chart. It's free. I have the premium, you pay like $80 a month, but you could get the free one and you could look at the same chart. So, if you care that much about the charts, then you could look at the chart yourself because you're using some software, right? So you don't even have to look at it. I don't when I listen to other people and they talk about TA, I don't even have to look at the chart. I have it visualized and memorized in my mind because I look at the chart on my own. All right. You could pretty much see it. It doesn't really cut off the top. It's just that when I press auto, all right? So stop complaining about it. I will ban you for life if you keep complaining. I can make my cursor a little larger. That's weird that it disappears on video when I move it. Or no, it doesn't. I'll make my cursor larger. Alright, smash some likes. Leave anything in the comment section. 15% off. The link for the 15% off is in the description below the video. Watch the video on my website so you understand and know what to expect. And the private group is $10 a month, where we share ideas, everything, indicators, opportunities, you name it. And I share my trades with you guys. What else? Share my videos. It's the only way my channel grows, and I will continue to do this. And that's it for now. Until next time.